Oh, I'm live. Am I live? Right. If anybody can hear out, say hello because there's a little delay. Uh, I don't know what I can hear from there. So if anybody's on, can somebody give me a thumbs up or a hey if you can hear me? Uh, he said there's 3 viewers, but I can't. Hmm, I've got no idea. I can see the chat. Let me see, just in case there's anything. Oh, right. Volume low. Volume low. Right. Let me volume low. Let me see. On. Right. Volume is really low. Like, right. All right. I'm gonna do some tests. Right. What's that like? Okay. I'm gonna try and. Right. Let me. Let me try. Turn up the mic a bit. What about right? My mic. How does the mic sound? I'm kind of just talking normal now here. How am I on that? Right. Right. What about the plink plonking? Right. Can't hear. Mic good. What about the plink plonking piano? Can you hear the piano? Right. You have to tell me which is low. Right. I'm getting mic's good. Right. Plunking a bit low. Right. Blink plonk. How about that? The plink plonking. The plink plonking's more important than my mumbling because I'm going to say a few things and then I'm going to get into it. So, oh, by the way, hello everybody. I have to run to a screen. What, right? What does it say? Let me see. Right. Plonking. My low. Right. The force is low. Right. The force I've turned up. And the force I've turned completely up. What did it say? I'll just say hi, everybody. Hi, Frankie Ty. Oh, that rhymed. And the Sansachi Hub 48. Right, 4 sounds like it's coming. Sounds like it's coming through the mic. Right. Right, I'm just going to record something quickly and then just see what, and then I will play. Right. I'm going to mute my mic and tell me if the sound of the force is working. Right. Okay. So I'm not going to say out and then tell me how this. Now I'm speaking. Obviously, I'm speaking. You should probably hear this. Right. I'm just trying this out. I think it's in mono at the moment, so I'm going to try and see if I can flip it into stereo. I haven't done this in ages, man, and it's really hard. I want to anyway. Whatever. Right. So I'm gonna press play. Not say out. Tell me how the sound is. Cool. Right. Louder than the beginning. Right. Cool. All right. So I guess that's cool. And I'm guessing when I'm talking, you can't hear me when I'm talking, and the music's on. Is that right? Or does it not make any difference? Hi everybody who's joining. I really appreciate you for joining it here. Like I say, yeah. Oh right, excellent. Easy ear skills. Xander G, everybody. Right, sweet. Both. Oh right, that's champion then. Yay! Yeah. So easy peeps. I'm gonna kind of I'm gonna have to kind of look sideways here because like where I've got my thing set up is kind of well, it's here, and then I've got the computers over at the side. I haven't done this in yonks, um, but I'll do my little pre ramble, and then I guess let's go and see what's what. Um, yeah. So after asking the folks who need to know if I'd be all right to just do something, just basically just make tunes and have folks be able to see what I do and hopefully inspire them or get some ideas of what I've kind of worked out. Um, 6 years, man, 6 years. This has been. This is how far it's moved along. And like I say, buying this 6 years ago, not actually this one, the one that I actually have got, because now I have two. The other one that I've got, I use for gigs now, which is ace. It's ace for using instead of taking a keyboard and Do you know what I mean? I play with a lot of, it's just live jamming music where it's usually kind of blues and rock stuff and covers. But I mean, it's stuff that I'd never normally do, but it's just ace because I can just get a little space and start playing. That's how much I enjoy this. Anyway, quick pre-ramble. Yeah, so the idea is to kind of just do Beatstream. I think I've said this kind of changed my life in a way. It was there one time when I was feeling down, and then I kind of made a focus on it and did so much that I ended up becoming part of the actual Akai club, and and hopefully I won't say too much. Be able being able to speak about what I thought or I feel is is good about the operating system and certain features and or what could be um, expanded on or implemented and so on and so forth. It ain't just me one, several people, but yeah, I mean, um, yeah, it's yeah. Anyway, for all us Akai Force users, this slowly become something of a fantastic device. It's been interesting, and then I'm going to show how much the music industry has changed in certain aspects of like hardware and software, and well, from my experience anyway, and how fast as well industry is in itself can change regardless of the industry, just because of the nature of like how things change inside societies. I guess I don't know. It's just like yeah, you can make a bike and you start off with the idea that it has no wheels, then it has two wheels, and then people like planes. I mean, that's how things work. That that's an undis, unjoined um, way of me thinking about things. But anyway, one thing's true. I like the tactility of this. There's loads of different ways, and everybody's got different reasons why they make music, and that's something I learned. Fundamentally, I was one of these idiots who only did stuff, mostly music for money, and and the whole 6 years, how all that changed, and my perception of what I do now has totally changed, and fundamentally now it's because I enjoy it, and especially um, this device and just the creation and making music. At one time, I even had a concept of it can be quite therapeutic, just making tracks and so on and so forth. So anyway, so what I'm going to do is this one. I'm just going to initially just start making a tune. I'm going to be about an hour, I believe. So anybody who wants to stick here, I'm going to try and glance across. So I'm going to move really. I'm going to try to be really slow. Got to be careful on what I say because I have caught myself slipping in the past, and people can interpret if I say something. I learned that me saying something, somebody could take it a totally different way, and so I have to really be careful on how I explain anything directed to what exists now or how this is or anything like that. That's fine, but any possibilities of will this do this or when's this coming or when's that or not coming or I cannot answer them. I can't answer them. Yeah, I just won't um, because y- you don't know until a pie's cooked. Do you know what I mean? It's all ingredients. So, with that said, what I'm going to do is I've decided I'm going to make a tune, and hopefully in this hour, I'm going to hopefully be able to like complete most of a tune. I'll be mixing as I go and producing as I go, kind of as I'm doing it. I'm going to use my techniques because there's multiple types of ways of doing something, but I find certain things faster than others, so there's no point in me showing something like, oh, well, this is how you make a beat on step sequence. And I'm like, yeah, no, that takes too long. Step sequence that I think is good for when you really want to fine tooth comb anything, when you really want to just get down to the nitty gritty of like one note doing something or sound doing that. But I wouldn't program like that. I'd rather just play it in real time and then fix what I need to fix. So obviously, I've done loads of videos and for the past and lots of things I understand more about this device, and lots of things I think have been improved. I'd like to believe. I'd like to believe that, and like I say, it's still ongoing. 6 years later, how amazing is that? So I feel it an interesting thing, and then I will show up what I thought. And initially on my last or my fish or whatever it was, which was a thing for Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, where if anybody knows Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, don't worry about it if you don't. And he says, thanks for all the fish. And it's like the dolphins leave Earth. So, never mind. I'm a geek. Anyway, hi, the volume's low. I cat duo. Right, I'll tell you what, because there's a few Pete folks now watching, and some joining, and I'm like, hi, I have to look away to see everybody joining. Yes, indeed it is. Yeah, so I'm gonna basically just confirm. I'm getting a lot of people saying that the volume is fine now, so I'm gonna have to go with that unless somebody says otherwise. Well, unless like bunch of people go, oh yeah. This is my first one of doing this, so I'm going to try and see if I could do them regularly. So maybe I'll try and see if I can do another one next week. Anyway, we're in 4 minutes of this. Oh, is that? Yeah, 4:37. What's that? 1 second. What's that? Is that the time? Oh, that's the viewing. Whatever. Anyway, I'm going to go on, like I say, for an hour from this waffle. So, with that said, I'm going to do the stock stuff. So I'm going to use the stock stuff. I'm going to do a straight out clear, and I'm going to try to make something kind of, I'm going to say neo soulish, because I don't know if anybody was aware, but a guy called D'Angelo passed, and he was quite prominent within a style of music which crossed a lot of hip hop and soul kind of together merged, and then a lot of the vibes worked with a guy called Jay Dilla. I'm guessing everybody here probably not, or most people might have heard of him. So, and yeah, I'm gonna try and do a vibe like that. And right, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use the stock because I really like the stock stuff. But what I'm not going to do, what I've done in the past, when I've got giddy and said, all right, well, I'll just show some at random. I'll get a random kit. And that I'm actually going to go through a couple of kits to listen to say, yeah, am I feeling that? And I'm going to try and collect something together from that to make something. So, the first thing, like I say, all of these things here, if you can hear them, hopefully you can, are all what's its name? Are all stock sounds. So I think the first one, what I'm gonna try and find is bass. Okay, I like that. And have that one loaded up. And actually, you don't have to do that now. So what you can do, I'm gathering everybody knows this, that you've got the load new button, so you don't have to make tracks now. You can just press load new and to do several. And yeah, that's. I'm sure there was like a bass thing. Chords. Let's see what we can get. Okay. Right, so we've got questions. A lot of this is on default. Let me just quickly check if everybody's still here, just in case. All right. Oh wow, there's. I mean, I have to keep this moving. Yeah. Okay. So, I'll kind of explain while I'm going along. I guess that doesn't do any harm. And yeah, if I'm explaining while I'm going along, and if anybody asks, so that's fine, I guess. So, right, these are pads. I want these. Oh, these are single pads, so that's fine. So that's fine. All right. So, first thing I would do is I'll do the launch and note at the same time. For anybody new and for anybody watching this after on the after not live, you press the launch and note at the same time. Then you've got the top stuff, which is um, the actual clips, and you've got your notes here. So whatever it is, like I'm using drum kits because I think drum kits are the best thing since sliced bread on this stuff. You've got those here, and this top one is one you can add in, which I always add, and that's in the launch config by pressing shift launch, and I always add it because that shows the arrangement, which is that thing here. So when I finish whatever I'm doing, I'll do arrangement, similar to an A button. So what I've got here. So I'm going to say about 86. Another thing what's ace here, if anybody didn't know, having it on screen means you can now quantize in real time. So when you're actually recording stuff in, you can record at different quantizers in real time. So for example, I think about 58 is good. And also you can bring down the strength, where the strength you can see it on here, as opposed to having to go all into there. It's all on your Q links. So if you bring down the strength, you'll get more of your groove, depending on how you are. I'm not, like I say, I like the Jilla things, but I like quantize. I like quantize. I like presets. I like anything to make my life easier. So I, I'll do that because I'm a bit used to it now. So I'll go 80, 89. So I'll do that. So another thing what you can do, which is nice, if you press launch, so you go in here, try to go slow on main mode. Just another thing quickly, just in case you don't know. If you want to get to main mode, there's two ways to do it. If you go here, you get everything because this is a well, this is menu mode, which shows you all of the things that are in here, all the different modes that this has. A quick way to it, that's main mode. Main mode's like hub for everything. A quick way to it is by pressing navigate and then matrix, or matrix then navigate. As I've said somewhere in the past, one of the most brilliant things about the Force is you have two modes of looking at pages: stationary, where you click it once and then it's locked in, or temporary. So if I go main mode, so I've got everything, if I go there and I do whatever I want to do here, as long as my finger's down on this, it's in that page. But as soon as I let go, it goes back, and that's for basically nearly everything here. So if I wanted to go, no launches for that, but if I wanted to go say no, and I wanted to kind of do something on the fly, I could do that on the fly. Admittedly, you can do the same thing here now by pressing app. So if you wanted to do change basic quantization or quickly, you've got access to it there by using app. And as long as you don't press app down and lock it, you have it temporary. I mean, previous to that, that was the quick way to doing it, doing the same thing. But now you've got it the same as NPCs because they're all parity, nearly, probably 99% parity. So anyway, right. So I've got my little. So yeah. So back to what I was saying. What's good about pressing here is if I go and I add this, that means when I'm creating a beat. So I've got my pad one there. If I press this, it'll add another iteration and it'll play that. So now it's just changed over. So I can add little kind of things. So I'll record that in. So I'll have that. I'll do that. Record that in. So I've made that one bar. I'm going to trim that length down. And then here's what's nifty now. I'm thinking to myself, well, I could have that on and off. So maybe sometimes it'll play that and then sometimes it won't. Again, a couple of ways I could do that. I could do it on the launch. No, actually, the easiest way of doing it is just to add the probability in. So I'm going to go here, go to probability. And here's where little things can be interesting. I'm gonna try not to do this. So, and I'm trying not to go really fast, but I could go here and I could just select those notes that I wanted. So, go here, step sequencer. I press shift and select, and then I've got these notes here. But truthfully, I only want one of those notes. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to press select. And what I'll do first time, it selects everything. Press it again. Then it'll get rid of that. Press it again. And it'll select that. So that's a quick way. It does an inverse. The first one does everything. Then if you press it again, it'll inverse. You press it again, then you just get the note. So it's a good way of getting, if you've got loads of notes and you want to get rid of like a bunch of notes. Right, I'll do this quickly, but even though I don't want to really, but I'll just show you. So if I add all of this, and I says, right, I want to select this note here. I'll get that, and then I could disconnect. Or a better way of you looking at it to see what I'm doing is if I said select all, and then I press select, I press that, I get rid of that. So now that's an inverse, but if I press it again, I end up with just that note. So that's a good way of selecting certain things if you don't like it. So anyway, back to what we're doing. So I'll go with probability, and I'm going to select that one because that's the one I want, and then I can just say I want that probability to be less. I could go on 65%. So greater than half of the time it'll play it, less than half of the time. So I'll say, I'll put it there. So it's kind of lower than most of the time that I'll play that. Let me quickly look and see if everybody all right there. Okay, so let's get back to it. So I've got my beat. Couple of ways around this. I'm gonna I'm gonna try and do this in a way for this one. I'm gonna do it as though I don't really know how to play stuff. Not that I do know how to play stuff, but over this amount of time, I've kind of been able to figure out how to play a bit, a little bit. So I kind of know what notes are, kind of. But I'm going to show you how you could do it without knowing, because again, this is another thing what I think is brilliant about this. Took me a bit of time to see it, and then when you see it, it's one of these things. As soon as you see it, you're like, yeah, I'll use this all the time. I use this all the time because it means I can play things where that would be really hard to play on a piano. But anyway, we'll go there. So let's see what we got here. That's nice. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, I like that. So we'll have that. Something, something. That's nice. Because I'm a little bit of a control freak in these types of things. What I like to do is I like to create like dummy pads, dummy drums. So how I do that, and it's pretty easy to do it now, is I have this. It's a blank drum kit, and then all I'm doing is I'm gonna say I want to send from this dummy kit to the hip hop kit, the first one. So I'll name this. I'll name it just so that everybody understands what I'm doing. So this is my dummy kit, and you'll see why I've done this now in a minute. And there's some other things which are ace now, which you can do that I've not even connected the dots to yet, but I know they'll be really ace to do. And you could another thing is I did that on the main mode, but I mean I could do it here because it's the same thing. I could do center here. So there's a bunch of ways that you can do stuff. and then you could go back and forth with the tracks here as well. So, like I said, it's kind of Burger Kingish that you can kind of do stuff your way, whatever makes it easy for you. Now, back to the point of what I was trying to say. So, if I go to this dummy kit, so that's the wrong kit, but don't worry about that. I'll find the right kit. No, that's the one. So now, the reason why I did that as a dummy kit is I've now got that on my own thing. So if I want to just play that piano back from that kit, I'm not stuck with it having to be in the same sequence. So in other words, I've got them drums that are going on and off the doubling, and from that same kit, I've also got this here. But because I'm not playing it on that clip on that track, I'm playing on dummy track. It means this information is going to be recorded. Is going to be basically on this dummy track. So really, I shouldn't have called it dummy track. I should have called it, I don't know. I'll call it melody. I don't know. Blink bits. Terrible. Blink bits. Because it goes bling-a-ling. Blink bits. I quite like that. The other thing what's ace about this as well is the way it sees this information, it will also see it in 16 levels. So if I want to have something where I have volumes separate, I've got control over the 16 levels without interfering with that other track, which is cool. But for what we're doing now, and because I don't want it to be blank, I'm just gonna go and do you know what I could have done? What I should have done is copied it across, but it doesn't really matter. I'll just do these. So I'll do a single pad. It's not important, but we'll have it anyway. And the dummy tracks, but I want these to be lit up here. Do you know what? Yeah, that's the ace. Another thing as well, this only controls the pad color mode, controls the pad color mode for this track. So if you look now, when I change, the settings are different for each track. So the information and how it displays is different. So now when I put this down, it's going to behave in the same way as it is here. But it's activating these because it's not recorded to the other track. Hopefully you'll see what I mean. So let's go back to Matrix so we can see what we've got here. So I'll go doom, 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 doom. No, I want another chord change in there. So keep doing that. iPad record. Press both of them. I'll fix it in a minute. If this was all faffy and say I didn't want to do all that and I was like, oh, this is faffy, now I'm going to catch this one. Couple of ways around it. I could just go here and then I could look for the thing that I wanted to do. So it's like, oh no, it's not that one. What one is it? Is it that one? So that I could say, oh yeah, which is the one that's playing. That's at the end. But anyway, because I know what it is that I'm wanting, I can go back. I'm taking too long, I'm talking too much. I'll just select it and get rid of it. Right. I've done that the wrong way round, Anna. I'm an idiot. So I'm just going to double that. Record that in. Yeah, that's nice. How's everybody? Right, so I'm going to use a plugin here. Right, I'm going to do something a little speedier. Or am I? No, I'm not going to do something quick. I'll do what's here. For anybody who's checking out, you should check out the MPC3 to see. Well, basically, it's the same kind of thing as this, but the speed. So if anybody's an MPC collector, it's definitely worth having a look at the MPC3. And here's the thing: what you could do, if you like how this works, you could use the MPC3 as a sound module. Obviously, there's some additional things that are on the MPC3, but in the meantime, it makes a really good sound module. And if you like updating your MPC3s, because some of the sounds that are actually in here, the stock sounds on plugins, are incredible. I mean, like the pianos. The only thing is, because at the time it takes to load up, it reminds me of other software where, because it takes time to load up, you don't always check through and you can miss some amazing sounds. I'm going to kind of go off the top of my head and kind of try and do real-time sound checking, but we'll see. So the next thing I do is I'm going to go to plugins and I'm going to play some. I'm going to try and find some. So the first thing I want to do is find the key. So this seems right, but it'll probably be minor, and it is. So. 4 and just have it loop round. Nearly, not quite. Not quite. Yeah, something like that. Do that again. Bummy done it, but we'll fix it. Extend that out. You know what? I'll get rid of all that. So, yeah, and then I'll play that in. Yeah, my sensitivity on my things is slightly different than maybe yours, because I tend to find the way I play is yeah, it's slightly different when I play stuff live, so I like to kind of have more. Nice one, good buddy. What So for anybody who doesn't know, right, there's a couple of ways around this. I think I've posted on the forum and that. You've got your basic standard version of how these pads work. So you've got all your pad modes. The main pad modes I use are scales. No, actually, the main pad modes I use are chromatic and progressions. That's the only ones I use. Tone is good, but I don't quite get all of it. Whenever I try to do a cover version of a song to try and understand how, I find that difficult. Tonex is good in that if you're really stuck and you're like got no ideas, you can. All of this stuff is it's always, for want of a better way of saying it, musically interesting. So, and the greatest thing about this stuff is with isometric grids is as soon as you figure something out, it's the same wherever you play it. I don't mean it's the same key, but I mean that whatever this is, which is some kind of what I don't know, whatever it is, some kind of funky seventh or something. That'll be true if you play it other places. That shape. So if you look at that shape and you play it there, it's going to be that. If you play it here, so you see, you probably can hear. That's all very jazzy. So Tonix is quite good for that. But anyway, back to what I was saying. So in scales mode, you have your typical stuff. What you're looking at here is all of these are minor. This is in a minor scale. So if I go like this, it's in minor. But you don't have to do it like that, because if you look in this square here, there's like a little kind of 9-note square kind of thing here. And if you look at that, that's the root, that's the main note that you're using, and that's it in an octave. So if I go, I'm back there again, and if you count, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So for any music folks over there, they'll probably notice, oh yeah, that's it, it's the octave in it. That's the octave, that A or whatever it's called. So the thing with the chromatic though, if you have it in chromatic, it's the same thing, but it's just spread out. So now all of these are the notes. I'm going to say it in the easy version. These are the notes that are kind of not necessarily right, but work right. They're not in the scale of C minor. And the reason why you want to probably have it like that is because some songs or some chords aren't going to work. So that's great. But what if I wanted to play, say if I wanted to play, this is C minor, if I wanted to play C major, I can't play one because it doesn't exist in this scale. But if I put it to chromatic, now the same thing is here, but now if I want to play a major, all I'm doing is moving it across the way. Or what makes life easier and why it's worth getting used to this is, say you start there, then you start to recognize, oh, wait a minute, that's interesting. These other notes have lit up. So what does that mean? It means I can play that same thing in a different place. So if I wanted, if I find that easier to play, I could, because maybe I can play it like that. And then now I've got other ones. Still fingery. It's different than the guitar. It's the guitar. It's different than the piano, but there's more opportunity to do more things than a piano, unless you're really, if you're a proper piano player, then fair enough, go ahead. But even really skilled piano players usually tend to only play really in certain scales, where you could play stuff where it's like, all right, well then now can do stuff like that, where that's not that easy to play on a piano. Just odd things where you go, oh, right, yeah, you think that'd be easy, and then you look and you realise That is not that easy to play the piano comfortably. So anyway, that's how I've got that now. So now I'm just trying to hum me note ideas to see, well, is there something that comes? And the other side of that equation as well is a good way of doing this as well. If there's a tune and you want to learn a tune or practice a tune, you import the MIDI and then just let it play, and you can see where it's highlighted. You go, all right, I'll remember that. So you go, all right, I can, and then you can learn it that way. So that's a nifty way. Or if you've got a keyboard, you can play keyboard, and then you can see where it's highlighted. And this is an easy way to play. Somebody's just said something. Be the place. Oh, right, yeah, yeah, yeah. To play piano. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That, yeah, yeah. Dave, yeah, yeah. It's I really like this because a lot of times I like jazzy stuff, and it's like a lot of times I'm like, man, I can't play that as hard as hell. If I wasn't so lazy, a lot of times when I'm playing with these bands, I'm like, I have to say, well, what key's it in? Because I'll be like, oh, right, A flat, and then I just change the key a lot of times. Sometimes it'll be in C, and I'll try and remember, but half of the time I'll just go, all right, that sounds right, and that sounds musically right in my head. So anyway, let's get back to it. So we got some I'll leave that bass out because maybe. If I'm ever in doubt, what I can do, sometimes I'll just play notes and I'll just play one note at a time in. So I know that's right. Oh no. Oh, no. Yeah, that sounds nice. What was that again? That's it. Dun, dun. That's nice. Is this about that? Oh. I'll try to read that. I'll read that in a second. Right. So let me just say, how do you find the reception of a band when you ask quick track? Oh no. Well, here's an interesting thing that you said, Matt. Uh, yeah. Um, yeah. I'll play to live band, so I won't even play to click. And because it's all like it's just all like blues. I prefer when they just go, oh yeah, we'll just do the 12 bar, and it's like dun dun dun. everything sounds like you're the woman, you know, or sometimes it's like muddy watersy stuff. So um, I just play the 1/4. So it's not really to click they're playing and I'm just playing live to that. If it's a click though, I mean you just send out. Um, because it's a live jam band, you genuinely don't know who's going to be there. The only thing what's quite cool is because this is so small, they never ask me to leave the stage. They always say stay on. And the other thing really why they stay on, everybody's guitar heroes and that lot. So basically, I can change here. I can add strings and stuff, and I like to play organs, and it always brings it up because whenever you get these live jam things, it's usually a guitarist, two guitarists, maybe three, flooding everything out, and a bassist, and then a drummer. And then I have to keep telling them, I say, man, yeah, you have to turn down the amps because the drummer has to set the volume. And then, do you know what I mean? He just goes south there, so I just get drunk and just play. Anyway, so yeah. So what we got here? Maybe I'll just split that. So I'll select all these. I'll go here. I'll go split events, and I'll split it to two. Blam. Go back to here, and then I can just select the ones I want and move that twice. I think it was da da. Let's see if I was right. And I think I might just be able to move that chord, transport. Da, da, da. So yeah, and I think so. Couple of things what I could do here. If I say to myself, um, oh, well, this is dead. I'm going to start speeding this up here because I'm trying to show everything, but I wanted to try and see if I could complete a tune in an hour. Well, not complete, but I mean actually get it to arrangement stage. But you tell me, is this good? Is this a better speed that I go at? Just tell me, is this all right, or do you think I should speed it up or anything? Because I, this is new, and it's something I'm wanting to do because I think that a lot of people like this, and I think this will be helpful. So just tell me if I'm going on at all right pace, or if you want me to like speed up and start putting a tune together because I'm kind of showing bits and bats. Sorry, I need to run to the computer to read this. Okay. Um, nice one. Cheers. Yeah. Now, do you know what it is? You have two types of musicians. When I'll just quickly answer this for you, Matt. In my experience, anyway, is you have tech haters and I won't say tech haters. I won't be that harsh. You have some types of folks who are like, oh, well, oh yeah, it doesn't sound right if it isn't a Stratocaster or no, that should be a Marshall amp or blah blah blah. Oh what pedal effects? No, You only have the middle pedal effects, and it's with drummers. I experienced that with drummers when I first was doing a hip hop band, and I wanted it to be live, and the disconnect of explain to someone use electric drum and say, yeah, you can get that slingerland sound, but I'm not. You haven't got slingerland. Oh yeah, no, the sound is the sound, and it's like they're not. Sometimes folks don't get it. The sound isn't the sound just with the live. It's that you want it to be a particular sound. Well, I did. I grew up on listening to records, so I wanted everything to sound or like, oh, this is what it's like live, but as a record. But I understand acoustics don't necessarily work that way, so I had to start understanding, well, how do you fill that acoustically to get the same effect? I now understand how you do that. So, for example, if you did have electric kit, you don't just put it through the PA. You have the monitor as replacement for the sound what the drum would do, so it'll work within that area. Certain things are all right, but drums, I don't know. It's for me anyway. Coming out of PA thing, I don't know. It doesn't necessarily work that way. I think you need to kind of balance the sound for me anyway, to get the same vibe. To tell the truth, it's one of these 6 of 9 and 9 of the other because I mean, a crowd. I mean, do they care? People, I think there is music creators are different. When we create music, we're looking at it differently in a different way. When even if we've started off musically, we go, oh, that's interesting, and a lot of time we're taking things away in our minds. Well, what could we use, or what helped us in that? Where maybe a crowd listens and they're like, oh yeah, that snare, and and if you're doing a hip hop thing, it sounds a bit rocky now, and you want it to sound hip hoppy, and maybe they don't mind. I don't know, but I understand 100% that thing of people go, oh, click track, blah, 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 and then they start hilling all over the place. But some people are like, yeah, no, I play to a click. I get how that works. So it's one of the 6 of the 9, one of the other. One thing I think, and I'm going off the tangent, but I'll quickly try and get back on track. One thing I thought was quite dope was Ableton had this thing. What was it, follow tempo thing, and I thought that was quite good, where you could have something and the drummer taps in, you put a mic in, and then it'll move the signal. Um, that's something I've been, yeah. Anyway, so I think that's an interesting thing. So there's loads of different ways around it, but I mean, I I I I like when a drummer's like, yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. I know what you're saying. We can't bring a Slingerland kit, and I can't bring this kit there. I'm down with electric kits. It's just visually. I always wondered, does visually if people used to it, but I don't know. I don't know. I've learned that. I don't know if people are bothered. Anyway, sorry. And somebody else has answered, so let me just quickly look and say, oh, relax one is nice. Oh, nice one then. Cheers, Logan. Um, Brian, yeah, excellent. Yeah, so I'm going to do, like I say, this one is a hip hoppy thing. I'm going to try and do different styles of whatever I know. I the sausage, yeah, it's great. Honestly, like sausage mate is helpful. Um, yeah, sweet, sweet. So all right then, I'll progress at this pace. Yeah, and oh wow, right. So so what's quite cool, I've got something here. You know what? I should really have headphones in because I'm just kind of listening to the speaker. Um, no, I'll be all right. I've gone so far. If it's all right. So that this was a default piano. So what I tend to do, I'm all right with this for now. I go here. I go back into load. There's a couple of ways I attack this. So you can go to sounds and go through sounds. But the reason why I don't do that personally is you're locked into that one plugin. So for example, I could go, oh yeah, for fabric pianos, and I'm locked into fabric pianos, and I can only go through whatever fabric pianos are. of fabric pianos. But what if Hype has got some nice? What if OP4 has or Tube Synth has got some piano type thing that inspires me or works in context with what I use? I can't access it that way, so that's why I would always go to instruments. And what's brilliant about doing instruments, because of the way that the operating system is on the Force, is anything that is a plugin is seen under plugins as opposed to key groups or anything else. So as you probably can see there, I've got Analog Dreams there, um, and I can now go right. I'll go search and I'll go into there, and I'm not. I should actually just go pianos. So if I went say piano, this is gonna find. If I spelt piano right, it would help. Siri, can you spell piano? It doesn't have that. So, so there, and what's pretty good is a lot of people who curate these types of things for the plugins, and now we've got the native instrument stuff coming across. Um, Always curate them quite well. So look at this now. So I've got an upright piano. I've got a EFME piano one. That could be from wherever. So now I can kind of play this. I can kind of go through them. And a quick way of doing it is the plus and minus. So you can, and it's the same with kits and samples and everything else. And it will just replace. Obviously, you have to wait. Unfortunately, but that's how that works. And you know what? I remember what I wanted to do. I wanted to electric piano. So I'm wondering if I need to. I'll try an E in front of that. Sometimes because it looks for everything. It can look for stuff as well. So for example, I've got L piano there, but I mean, it might look for an E inside of something else. So it's kind of a bit of a lucky bag thing, and like, but I'm trying to think of another. Well, I could say Rhodes, keyboard piano. I don't know. So anyway, we'll just go for it and find out. I kind of like. I'm calling it like this. I kind of like basic stuff like that. So this is just giving me an idea. I'm going to look for electric piano. So anything that I see is E piano. I'm going to see if there's a tremolo because I kind of like the kind of sound. That basic piano I quite liked. So I'll mention that. Let me see. I like a wool. This is nice as well. That's nice, but so I want something more funky, soulish. What's that? That sounds like I think in this instance, because it popped in my head and I heard it, I heard electric piano, I'm going to go and go look for that piano. Tell you another thing what I find quite cool and interesting, and I forgot to do it because I was playing through it, is a lot of these sounds, I think, me personally, are nice when they're quieter. So I'm going to bring all that stuff down here, select that, and I'm going to bring it all down. And I can just turn the volume up. Not that far down. I ain't hit a bass in this. It's just been chiming away on it. So another thing, don't quote me on this, but I think, oh, I don't even have to, because this was separate. For anybody who's was watching earlier, because I did this as a dummy track, it means now I've got control over turning these down, so I can turn the velocity down without having to turn the sound. So, say if I wanted to mess with that sound again on something else, I'm not stuck turning the whole of the actual samples down. I can just turn down. So let's get some other stuff in here. Keep this going. What else have we got? Oh no, I remember what I was saying. I was going to do a bass. So a few of you might have seen my harmony maker thing that I do. I really this I do all the time, all the time. If I'm like this, I've got these chords now here, so I've played them. I've got these chords, and I've got all this bling bling. Right. Now I could go all around the bushes trying to work out, oh, well, what bass I can hum it, doom, doom, and I would sometimes I'll do that. If I'm not quite sure, and there's some notes that I can imagine, I might go doom, 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 doom. But I can get something where I know it's precisely right, precisely right. I don't know. That does not sound like English to me. Specifically right? No. Anyway, it's right. Is what I'm trying to say. So what I'll do is I'll go to center and I'll send it to the MIDI, and just so that you can see what I'm doing, I'm going to call this my bass finder. Bass finder. So I've got my bass finder. So what that means is when I press play, and I'll stop everything so I can go to my matrix, and oh, it's on here, isn't it? Cool. So I'll stop everything. So that stops everything. And you know what? I don't even know why I did that, because this is a false, isn't it? So look at that. There you go. So you could press stop all there. So anyway, let me go back to launch, and I'll launch my chords. So I've got me. Is that my chord? Oh yeah, no, it's this one, isn't it? That's the one I want. So I've got my chords. So now this is showing me my chords. So I'm like, great. If I was to use this now, it would it would it wouldn't have a sound. So if I was playing, I'd be I'd be seeing the notes, but I wouldn't know what I was playing. So what I want to do is I want to find a bass. So I'm going to go to a plugin, add a plugin in. I'll just go here and I'll go bass. If I go in here, and then where is the word bass? So I'll go with this MIDI one at the moment. That'll do me. That'll do nice. So now, right. But if I was to play this now, I'm not seeing the notes. So I need to somehow know how these notes work. And this is where it's quite cool. All I have to do is I'll go into settings here, and I just change this to multi. I can change it back after. So why did I change multi? Because now what can happen is I can select a track and have one track recorded. So I'm looking at this track, the information on this track, but when I record, I'm recording the bass. So I'm recording the bass line, but I'm seeing the notes on here. So now I could go, all right, cool. I could do this fast or slow, whatever, and I can do multiples because now we've got clips. I'll go here. But it's probably better on Matrix. I'll show you the Matrix. That's probably better. So I can record, and I'm playing all the notes, and then I could just copy it across. In fact, actually, I don't need to do that because this one is the one I'm recording on. So this is the one I'm recording on, but this is information I'm seeing here. So that first chord, if I forgot, has got all of these because they're highlighted. So that's the chord. It's too high up, but underneath, these are the notes we're playing. So I know. I like that. So now that I know all that shenanigans, I can go back. Since I'm here, I'll press. So I'll record this. So that's my first chord. And do you know what? Let me extend that as well, so that I'm going to have that as. I'm going to have it the 4-bar. So it's going to be a 4-bar bass line, which is going to shift and move. Let me just quickly look across, see what anybody else is saying. Amen, brother. Easy. Amen, brother. Break, to be correct. Is there an advanced note repeat? An advanced note repeat. I wouldn't even know what would be an advanced note repeat. I think all of it's advanced note repeat because you've got the arpeggiator and you've got note repeat in there, and on top of that, and don't quote me on this, but I think somewhere along the lines I was making sure that custom apps is now implemented. So I think custom app is fine now. And don't quote me. I'd have to go and look again. But so I mean, that's already there. You'd have to explain what you thought advanced note repeat was, because there isn't any note repeat that I can think of that can't be done, really. Yeah. So anyway, right. So let me. Oh yeah. Sorry, I switched over just to show you that. So let me go back by selecting. Here's the thing, because I'm always learning myself. Yeah, I remember ages ago I was going, how come it's moving? Oh, it doesn't matter anyway. Ignore me. Forget it. It's not important. So let's go back. So we've got. So I've got another 3 notes. Because I'm out there, I heard da 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 da. And then I can come down from there. Bum, 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 something. Bum, bum, bum. So all these ones work. So maybe. Yeah, and then we'll come back down. Yeah, that will. That's nice. Ah, no, I mashed that one, didn't I? I always mash stuff up me. Right, so I'll add that in. I'm good. I always believe you don't have to play everything in one go. Play it as you can. And then we can do a turnaround like that just there, can't we? So, something else. See, so a load of these notes I probably wouldn't have thought of. Probably wouldn't have thought of them if I would have done it the other way. So I've got my thing there. Sorry, let me see what to say. Oh yeah, the articulation. Yeah, yeah, kinda. Yeah, I think what he's on about is the thing in the MPC Live. You got to kind of understand, right? The MPC Live is a new device. As I've said, and hopefully I'm not speaking out of turn. I don't think I am. You got to look at it kind of like iPhone, iOS. So you've got, say, I don't know, iPhone 6 that does that, and it's got this camera and blah blah blah. But the iPhone 17 has got this camera and blah blah blah. But I don't think the iPhone 6 takes the same operating system. But imagine it does for this example. So obviously it's like that because that's how processors work. If something's 4 times that, it, there's an argument point to say, oh yeah, it could be implemented. But again, there's an argument to point to say, would you? So it's like everything. It depends on what it is, and I don't know. It, yeah, uh, there is extra stuff. There's a load of extras. The mod matrix is amazing. Depending on, again, depending on how you work and what you use, and if that's a thing for you. I do believe that, yeah, for sounds. Anyway, yeah, it's all interesting. I'm waffling again. Um, yeah. Oh, but yeah, articulation is. Now I've read it, Matt. Articulation's the it's it's kind of fulfill. Well, it's not kind of fulfills. It's drum articulations, so flams and stuff like that. Um, so it's not necessarily note repeat per se. It's just like, well, look, I'll explain. I'll show it. So if I go to, let me come out of this now that I've done me little funky bass line. I always like to go back to single because then I don't end up getting confused like I just did there. So if I went to note and I went to, let's change this to articulation, and let's say for the argument, I change filter. So I'm going to change filter to articulation. Obviously, yeah. So there is certain things where, put it this way, if there's things that you don't see, it's more than likely they're resolved. And if you don't hear me go, eh, or anything like that, it means it's resolved. So it'll be in the next update. So anyway, articulation. You've got all the different types of articulation. So you've got buzz rolls and whatever. But there's nothing to stop you from using that per se on on a different sound, on a melodic sound or bass maybe. That could be quite good. But yeah, that's articulation. And also, I think you can do that into the mod matrix. So you can get really sophisticated. I mean, at the moment, I've got one kit and blah blah blah. I could make all the sounds out of one kit. Sorry, let me just quickly read what someone said. Yeah, mod matrix is yeah. There's a lot of things you could do with a mod matrix. A lot, like is. I always say this though. Always remember what you. Well, again, depending on what you're doing it for. If you're wanting to do a tune and end up doing a tune, don't get too much into the weeds, because a mod matrix and loads of things you can get into the weeds and then you end up with, oh, that's ace, and you can't remember what the tune's about. What were the tune for? What were you doing? We complete like me. I'm waffling now. Right. So anyway, that's nice. Right. I'm gonna have some strings. Oh no. Let's see what's in here. So we've got our things. Let's see if we can use some other stuff. We'll try and use that. So the first thing we'll do is get that into key. No, first thing we'll do is we'll get into time. We'll get into time. Obviously, you probably see I'm using super here because it is super in comparison. I personally think that's my personal opinion though. So now an interesting thing, just a quick tip. Sometimes you want to use stretch as opposed to using the BPM. Again, depends on what it is you're doing. But do you know what? I didn't say what tempo was 85, 86. So why I like this, actually, do you know something? Let me just check something. Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, okay, I'm going to remember that. Mental note to self. Right, let's get back to the shall I do another dummy track for that? Yes, I will. So we'll go here and we'll go to wherever that was, plink bits, and we'll dupe that plink bits. Actually, I can do it here. So dupe that plink bits. No, actually, I didn't need to do any of that, do I? So I'll go there. I like that. So I'm keeping that on with that. So I'll just add it. So now I'll add that. Where is it? Oh no, I do need to, because it's a different kit in it. It's a totally different kit. So I'll undo that, and I will copy this because it's a different kit, and then I just change where it's sending it to. So I'm going to add that plink bits, and I'll rename it. arpeggiate or something. Arp thing. And if I need to add any more stuff to it, then I'll add more stuff. I don't know. Arp thing. So now I'm going to go and look for that. You know what? Wrong one. Third time lucky. Right. Which one was it? Is that it? One of these will be right. No, that one. Send. More on. You know what? I'll just do it here. So where's that point? Arp thing. Right. I want that send. I want to send that somewhere else. Right, so I'll record that in. Get back to that. And on 2. Yeah, okay. That'll do me. Do it 1. Actually, I'll do it 1 there. And then all I need to do, go back to there. That wasn't paying attention to it there. Right. Let's just get this. Okay. And then I'll just start brute forcing. So, to my ears, it sounds like this speeds up, but that'll be fine. So now, I just want to put in key. It's saying it's C there. So another thing what I like to do, again, a bit bone idle, I could copy that and change the notes, or if I know that that's one semitone up, I can actually implement that, and I actually like doing this. That's why I like step sequencer, because I could say, right, the step sequencer, I want this thing, so which is over here. It's not on there, it's on there, but what I want to do is I'm going to say on this thing here, I want to add a new parameter, pad tuning, and another ace implementation is now everything actually tells you what it is. So at the moment this is not, and let's see page follow. Yeah. So now, do you know something? I'm going to try something here that I haven't tried. I know 16 levels works on this, so let's try and see if, in theory, let's see if we can change it from this. I know dummy works, so let's see if add new. Right. Oh, cool. So if I add 14, is it 14 of this or is it 14 of the art thing? Let's go tuning. So we've got our thing there. Right, I'm going to change it up, so I'm going to do then I want to heighten it. Now, can I do this? I'm probably making this way harder than it needs to be, but I just want to do it. I'm going to try it. I'm going to try it anyway. So first of all, I'm going to have this. I'm going to cut it down. Apologies, I've just gone into one over here. I'm going to trim this to length. I'm going to double it. So I'm going to double it so that it's 4 bars long. So now this is 4 bars. Go back to step sequencer. First bar is going to be second one's going to be 2, and then I'm going to change it up on 3. So I don't need a follow on here, so I'll turn off the follow. Another brilliant thing, you can move by through the bars. So on bar 3, I'm going to try to see if I can change the pad tuning of this. Actually, I should have done it on the other one, but it doesn't matter. Let's see what happens. So I'm going to add one in here. I'm going to go back because this is what it already is at. I'll make that. So this is going to be the same unless I change it. So on bar 1 it's going to be that. I'm going to go bar 3, and I think it's so up by 3 semitones. Is that right? We'll see. Let's see if it does it. In theory, it should do. Interesting. Okay, cool. Yeah, I was too giddy. Do you know what? I didn't think that would work. I didn't think it would work. I thought I'd give it a shot. So what I have to do is I have to tell it on this one to change up. So to tell the truth, it would probably be just easier to copy that and just play those notes in wherever they are on the other thing. So, but I've come this far. I want to show what this means because there's a lot of waffling there, and then I'm going to look I'm going to look at the chat thing. So what I'm going to do is I've got that here. I know I'm going to change it at 3, so I'm going to go here and I'm going to add pad tuning on here. It's already on 1. I'm going to move to number 3, which is the one I'm going to check. Oh, right. No, I can't. You can't do it that way because it's not that plain. So there's a pro and con of certain things about using a dummy track. Dummy tracks are ace in that way, but not necessarily in a way that I can kind of use them for pad tuning with a step sequencer. Is there another way I could do this? Yeah, there is, because I already explained it before when I was doing it. Is I could go to notes, and if I do 16 notes will work. So then all I need to do is find what's that. And because it's warped, it'll play. So I just need to I need to take them out then, don't I? So if I have number 2 and number 3, I'll get rid of. Doesn't work because I think it's in a different key. already took too long. I could work that puzzle out. Oh, do you know what? Just undo it all. There we go. What's that then? Oh, hey William. Nice one. Right. Right. Let me piece this together as something. Let me piece this together. I want strings. I think there's some strings that come in here. I haven't used any of them kits. There's no laws against that. Truthfully, I could just copy this across to that. So what's there? Oh, that's nice. So let me take that. Maybe I'll add that in somewhere. So I'll keep that. I'll keep that. So I'm going to make that into something. So I'm going to copy that. This, I love this. I love the way you can copy on this. So, maybe I'll make that in one of these. Wait, can that work anyway? So what I'll do is I'm going to do that same thing that I was on about, and I'll just make that another kit. So so right, so I'm going to copy that. Yeah, so I've got that copied, and then I'm gonna double that. So I'll double that, and then again. So now I've got this long one, which is doing, and because I doubled it, it's still got the probabilities in there for that second kick, so that's fine. And then I'm gonna have this long note, and you'll see why I did it this way in a minute. So I'm gonna have that. Oh, right, maybe I'll have to fix that, but so we've got that. So now I can go back and I can change those notes. So if I go to the step sequencer, this is actually in this kit. So I got that. I've already got the pad there, B. I could have done it on that pad there, but I've pressed that, so whatever. I've pressed what I've pressed. So now I can go here and I can go pad and I can go tuning on this pad in parameters, and then I can tune this. And the reason why I'll do this is because I'm not pressing a sample, it's the sample straight across that I'm changing the tuning of, which means it won't be resetting a note. It should sound, it should sound smoother. This is a trick I use for strings. If you ever strings go dun, and then kind of have a false kind of like the real strings, it's a good way of doing it because you're not resetting the string sound, the sample. The sample's just moving pitch. So we'll have that. That's the first one. We're locked into that. So we're gonna go. Now this one, I'm gonna put the pages back on because then it gives me context. Because I love having context of things. So we're gonna have a change at second bar 5. So I'll take that off. I know where I am, but I'm kind of doing this to give you an idea. What I did there is I had the follow on because you can now follow pages. You can follow the step sequence, so and you can follow this. And mainly, the most important part of following the step sequence is that you can follow it in arrangement. So if you've got a full arrangement of something, and then there's a little bit where you say, "Oh, a nice little fill or a little riff would be nice there." You're not having to play it all through. You can just go to that section and put that fill in. Or you loop round that section, you go in the step sequencer, and then you start messing, and you've got all the presets and everything that you can still use in here. So it means you can get really sophisticated. Say if I wanted air chord to go, yeah, 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 and then stop, I can do that in here because now I can go, all right, it's going to play until this length and then it's going to stop. So little things like that are what says, and you can do that by also using the unlocked. But anyway, we're not into that at the moment. We're into this. So I'm gonna go da, da, dun. So there, da, da. So basically, I'm using my musical kind of head there. The way you the easiest way of looking at this stuff is to say, right, well, I've got 8 here, and so if I go that, that's 1. That's step 2, 3, 4, 5. So just when you're looking at these, look at where the steps are because it's not that, because that's 16 steps and you've only got 8. So if I go like that, yeah, I hope that makes sense because you're starting at 1 and you're going there. The next step is 9. So obviously that's not the one I want. So if I'm putting that step in here, none of these work to this page because it's that half in 16ths. If I change that to 8ths, right, then I would be able to see it. Do you know what? To tell the truth, because of what this is, this doesn't really matter because it's a pitch. So the reason why I probably don't want to do that is if you forget, then you're into the time divisions of 8ths, and don't quote me on this. Yeah, but I suppose there's a quick way you could look at it, or you could just go, all right, well, if I just want to get to use the Q links and I don't want to keep changing pages or something, and I know that I'm only going to be doing something in the quarters, I could go to quarters, and then I'm only changing on the quarter. I don't know if that's made sense to you. The reason why I'm saying this is if you forget your your TC is going to be in the last thing you left it in. So if you went in a bar, then the TC is going to be left in a bar. So just kind of yeah, remember that. So anyway, um, what did I say? Oh yeah, I'm just going to do this in quarters because no, I'm just going to do this as everybody else would do this. So I'm going to go 9 to 16. If you're ever in any doubt, always read the readout because you can see. Look, that's from 1 to 8. 1 to 8. It says it there, but the screens are small. You might not be able to read that there, but you can see that. So if I press that, that's 9 to 16. So I know that's 1 to 8 because there's 16 steps. So remember that. So 9's there. So da, 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 um, I remembered seeing that now. In fact, I could probably do it. Don't quote me, but I think I can do that. Yeah. So that's 1, 2. So if I go 2 down from there, 2, 2 down from there, and I can get rid of that by actually just do that. Right. Right. Interesting. That tuned down for 2. So that should have permanently done that. That should do that until the next step. Oh. Oh. Right. That's cool. I'm not going to get into explaining what's happened there, but that's cool. The short version is, instead of it being continuous now, it locks off on each one. So it returns back to the first step. So for example, if I didn't have that there, it's only going to do it for that step. Truthfully, I would have assumed that was on lock. I'll look into that. But anyway, let's get back to what we're doing. So I went, oh, put my fingers. Right, so. That's not cool. Right. I don't want to spend too long on this. I can look and work out why that was. Because that should have gone down. I don't know if it should have gone down 2 steps. Just in case it's me, because I'd rather I'm wrong. I'm going to move that down 12. Shift if you're missing numbers. Yeah, that is me. I think that's fine tune. I think that's fine tune. I need to find. Let me see what's in there, because that seems like that's fine tune. Interesting. Oh, right. Wow. Right. Okay. Wow. There's a lot more. Layer 1. Right. So let me go back and get rid of that. So my understanding was right, but oh no, I won't clear all because I just cleared that pad. I clear that page. So if I go off now, yep, yes. So let's go back. Let's go add V13. Wow. So basically, you can detune the layer now. So you can detune each layer individually. So if I go on here and scroll down, and I kept scrolling, I've got semi tune. So I can tune just that layer. So I'm going to go back. I'll go here, and then I'm going to go the 2 bars, and I said it was there. And remember, I'm on 9. So if I go 2 down, that's actually 2 semi-tunes. Where's number 1? Oh yeah, because I didn't add anything. So, right, that's not. But stupidly, I'm not on the right. Wait, I am on the right thing. No, that's right. Let me. There we go. Okay. Bar 2. I don't need that because that's going to bring down. That's going to change that picture. Do you know what? That's already taken me too long. If something's taking me too long, I'm not interested. So, and it's already took too long because I wanted to put this as a song and I haven't. So let me go back here, delete that, go back to where we were with the normal, and let's arrange it, and then we'll just call it. Sorry, that was just a long-winded way. I like, I say, I like checking out and testing stuff. And cheers, Logan. Nice way to work around the copying. Right. Um, yeah, there is a way of doing that. I spent too long, and I tried to keep this an hour, and we've gone a lot longer than an hour. So I'm gonna quickly try and arrange something, and wrap this up quickly. Let's let's do something. So come on, we'll go back to launch, and next time, well, I don't know. You'll have to tell me if this was because this is the first time I've tried it like this. So we'll stop all, and I wanted strings. I'm gonna add strings in the arrangement. So we'll quickly do an arrangement. A nice way of getting the arrangement up as well is that, but I just remembered I've got it on launch, so it's going to play everything from a launch, which I don't mind from this page, but I didn't want it from that. So another thing, but I think everybody is aware of this. You don't have to turn off TC anymore. So basically, when you're recording arrangement, whatever you're recording is going to go into the arrangement. So like my swing is going to go into the arrangement. But if I was to say put the swing correction back, so back to the defaults, let me go there. Go here. If I put that back to the defaults, so no swing or anything, it's not going to overwrite that. It's going to keep the swing and everything that I've got in. So let's go here. Let's go record. I've got record to selection and take the loop off. I know why it's doing that because I'm not in the right page for it, but it doesn't matter. I'm going to do it like this. So totally forgot how this was. adjustment. We'll have all that back into that. Let's see, that little end part. Let's go there. That's it. So we'll get rid of that one. So it ends like this. No, don't like that. We'll have it fade. So just there. Just on that pad. Just mix that pad. Well, and you know what, we can do it nice as well. We'll do it again, like say with a step sequencer. Follow, we'll get to the page. Well, I don't need to do that because I can see there what is. It's at 43 because that's where I stopped. So all I have to do is go here all the way across to 43. There you go. And it was 43.4 where the thing is, and it's showing me where it is, and you can see there 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's there. So what I want to do is I want to have a little fade off on there. Let's say I'm in any doubt, I'll bring it back a bit, press play preview. So I know where it is. It was 43. What was I going to do? Oh yeah, volume. So I was going to turn down the volume on that thing. So I'll go here for that pad. Do you know which one am I on? Let me just make sure I'm on the right one. I want that one, but it's on there, innit? That's the one. So it's that pad here. On roasted. No. Keep going back. It's on mashed. So 43, and I want it to fade. So I'm gonna go here, add, and on that, and on the pad mixer, and I want it to just fade. So from that 43 was 43.4 where it, so 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to go from here and I'm going to fade down. I'm going to just fade out. So now the other way around. Right, no, it's that in it. Yeah. Right. There. Right, go back. Oh, do you know what I should have done? I should have 40. Okay. And then all I want to do is bring that down, I guess, something like that. So let's go. No, do you know what we can do with that? Let's go 43. Let's go 40. I could have done this in real time, but I'm just showing you. Hopefully this hasn't gone too fast. I think that was a better fade. I could probably have done a better job of that. And I think I can do a better job of that by going here, going here, going at pad level. Yeah, I could probably make it quicker. I could, and then if I wanted, I can go back. I can go back and fix that. So let's say I do wanna. I want to go and fix that because I was like, yeah, that's all right, but it's not that smooth. I can go back here and I'll bring it down. I'll keep that there, and there you go. Oh, do you know what? I need to have 16ths. I know why. It's because it's got steps, but I think I'll be all right. I'm not going to lose any sleep over that fade. There you go. Right, so okay, so let's get this bit finished now. This was way longer than an hour. Sorry. So anyway, we got our tune, um, and I want my strings. I want my strings in there. We'll have a roll there, so we can use articulation. Back again, we'll do it slightly differently here. So let me. Where's my snares? So there's my snares. So that's the first one, second one. I'll just play it. So this is what's ace now. I'm in arrangement, so I can see where I am. It's going to keep showing them. It keeps showing them if I put it onto follow. So let me follow. So this should keep following here. And I can go to the point. So so here I'm gonna have a. I'll go. I could go. So, but what I could do now is I could go. I should have fixed that. I didn't. I could have gone and used 16ths. So let me do that now. I'll go here. The thing that I was showing about articulation. So, and we'll have an articulation. I have to get my brain in order here, innit? I won't. No, I can't do it from the step sequence. I don't know what. My brain's not right. So let's play. I'll come back. I'll just do a normal typical roll here. I'll just do a roll of so let me check that I'm back in 16ths. Here. Yes. interesting. Okay, mental note to self. We can check that. Let's go back a bit. So what I can do is, these are velocity, so I'll go that one to there, that one to there, that, no, make it a bit of a larger leap than that. That one can be that, and this last one can be full on. So now we got, and is there a crash somewhere there? So there, we'll have that there for that. So, and then we can check that and rewind. Did I press the right one? Rewind that. Probably, I could have probably recorded this in. You know what? I realised where I was. I think. Don't quote me. Yeah, there you go. I was just in the wrong place. So we'll have that. So we'll start tapping stuff in real time in step sequencer. So quick rewind. Do you know, actually, let's play this in real time. Make that softer. So bring that down, a bit calmer. So that's a little calmer. And this is what's nice about real time. Too much, but too. There you go. This is another way I like to record live vocals as well. Get rid of that. Let's get some strings into this and be done. Strings and be done with it. So back to here. Strings. So I'm going to go in here. I'm going to go up there. I'm going to look for something like pads. I have go to pads, but I'm just gonna. Oh right, some things I haven't bothered putting in. Oh, good lord, I bet something's not on. All right, look at that. I'm really down into stock stuff. So let's see. Let me go activations. What have I not activated? Interesting. I'll have to have a look at that. Right, I'm just going to quickly go get some pads because I'm not quite sure what's not right about that. But warm pad, I guess. Rich, strong, soft. Rich, soft analog. No, that ain't me. I'll tell you what, I'll go for a goodie. I like that. First bit was alright, second bit sucked, so let's quickly amend that somewhere along there. Oh no. I didn't record it. Right, I'll add that in because I did hear something that I liked. Oh, I know why that didn't work. It's not because it's a legit. Well, it's meant to be a metronome. No, metronome. Mellotron. Mellotrons didn't have that thing. It's like organs. Organs don't. They're not thingy sensitive. Velocity sensitive because that stuff didn't come out there. I think you can make it that, but we'll just turn it down. I'll just make it easier. Go back. Yeah. So, I think I can have it louder than that. Also, don't forget you can also do this for fast forward and rewind, just in case anybody didn't know. So have an echo there. Just fade there. Yeah, because life's too short. We'll just put an echo straight onto that. There's a load of different ways. Could oh well, let's see. Is there an echo in here? Oh, there is. There's a delay. Do I want to mess with that delay? Is that delay switched on in the first place? Is it on? Uh, yeah, I don't want to mess with that delay. So, is it on? Yeah, it is on. Is it on? Yeah, it was. It is. It is on. I will not mess with that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go into that and add an effect. No, actually, I won't do effect director there. I'll see if this stuff has any. Has this got any in any way? Yeah. Um, I like follow delays, so I'm gonna even quickly use a front finger to follow me. That'll do. Da, da, da. Bring that up. Um, yeah, because some of these settings are. If you see a half setting like that, that's because it's usually built to be as an insert. But what I'm doing is I'm using it in the official style of delay, of send, not delay. I'm using the delay as a send. So I'm going to go da, 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 da. So I'll go back to there. And I'll go da, 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 da. So I'll do that. I'll do it as a send instead of mad automation. So I'm going to go back here and then I'm going to just say round there. In fact, do you know what? I'll work on it quickly here, there, so that I don't have to keep going back and forth, even though I could. And I'm going to go there. So put the loop on there, there. So I'm going to go on this plugin here, and I'm going to go here, and I'm going to go to the mixer, then I'm going to go send, because it was send, it was the second send where there was reverb and delay. I can check that, but so I'm going to bring up the fade. I'll bring it up here. So yeah, right. Preset the other way. Oh no, do that again. Oh, well, it did it, but I realised I could have flipped the steps, couldn't I? Oh no, that flips the whole of the steps, so I don't want to do that. Let me do that again. There. So read. Sorry, and then I'll quick one last bit and I'll do. Was it right? Oh, sorry, I have to go across. So what's people saying? Oh, thanks, Dave. Dean, easy, Dean. Okay, there was a whole volume thing going on there. Uh, device a little loud. It got like volume, maybe mute notifications. All right. So it's still like me that yeah. Right, no worries. Tom reading chat. Beatstream. So yeah, he's read chat design. Running. Oh wow. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for that, Dave. The thing in right. Quickly. Might do a quick remix of this. Oh, I'll show that. I'll show this, and I'll quickly finish this. So let's say I've done this tune, and I'm like, yeah, that's great, but this song's so long. There is something. Yeah, anyway, never mind. What I can do is I can say that's my first version, version one. Anyway, I've got it there. I'll go here, and I'm going to copy that sequence and make two, and I'm going to just cut the radio edit. So I can go radio edit, right? Do that. I'm in two now, so I'll go here. And I can say, yeah, that's dope, but it's taking too long to start. So so I'm going to get rid of the first bit of that. So what I can do is I can go around here. Out the easiest, well, the quickest way. Let me stretch these out a bit. Quickest way of resolving stuff. I think if you put loop on and then do that, it'll automatically get to that. So I'm going to delete bars and it'll show me. So on radio edit, I'm going to do the first two bars. So now we're straight into there. We'll get rid of this chunk part as well. So we'll get into the crash. And we'll just go straight to that. So we'll get rid of that section on there. So I'm going to delete them bars 5 to 6, and then take loop off and play this. So we've got a little crash thing here. So we've got into there. The crash, so we'll have another there. So I'll keep there, highlight that. So I'm back into that step sequence. Could have had step sequence on there. We've got the snares. Did I turn follow off? I cannot remember. I could have sworn I had follow on. So right, why is that showing 9? There'll be a reason. Let's press play, continue. There, so, right. And then I just stopped it stupidly, but it's alright, it's cool. So, I'm going to have a fill. Where did I say I was going to have a fill? So, we'll go back a bit. So we'll quickly fix that. We'll do these colours here. So these colours. There we go. And we'll have the crash as well. So we'll go back here. That crash was on a different kit way. On a different kit. So we'll play that. So there. And we can check that. Was cool, but that was taking way too long for me, so I'll quickly get rid of that. Truthfully, could have come with a bass, but we didn't, so we did what we did. Do you know something? Let me just check something as well. Does that need to be? Oh, right, so you don't need the loop. Okay, cool. So that's going to come straight. That's going to come in there. I think I like that crash. So I'll put another crash in there. that. I didn't even get into any of the mixing stuff. What I'll do next time is I'll get a tune and then I'll mix it so I can show you. So we'll go back there. Quick So as you can see, I'm kind of working out the thing on the fly. So it can have, and we'll have strings in there now. So it's quite fluid, and like I say, it can be quite, for want of a better word, therapeutic in the way you add stuff. So let's get to strings. Oh, I could do piano as well. What we got? Could we could play a bit so and then we're out. We'll call it a day. So like that, maybe. So oh, my bad. You know what I did there? Look at that. So undo that. But I know what I'm going to do. Here we'll have strings, so across the strings. Where's strings? I forgot to turn off the delay, but hey, voila. So sorry, that went all over the place. So it's relevant says, but I get a low memory. I get a low memory. I guess too many recorded clips. Yeah, I'm gonna. I'll tell you a quick trick. Not trick, but a quick thing about when you're doing clips. You should always try and truncate and chop anything. Like sort of, what people tend to do is they have a habit of they'll get a massive sample, and they'll use it all over the place. But when it's streaming the length of the sample. It's really hard to explain. It makes sense why it does that, and that's why the stream works. And the best way of dealing with that is if you've got something and it's a full sample, if you just, it's non-destructive, but if you just like, if you've got audio clips and you're using certain areas of a sample in audio clips, then just trim that sample, trim that sample, and then what it's doing is it's kind of, for want of a better way of saying it, it's seeing that as a position, so it's not taking the length, and also the other thing, what people tend to do is you get low memory when you're not streaming stuff. So, for example, I've got a gigs um, I've got a gig project, and it's massive. It's massive, but I've also got loads of plugins in there as well. It's got loads of full length tracks of audio. But do you know what? It all fits because anything that is audio, I have streaming, and that was an earlier version. So I've just remembered now everything can stream. So, i.e., if it's duration of time, so short samples can be funny. I think as a rule of fun, I think I say anything over 2 seconds, put it as a stream, and then you're never going to run out of space. So, for example, if you've got a kit and the samples are 2 seconds long, I'd start thinking about maybe I'll just put that to that. I don't think it's that bad with, like, unless you've got one of them crazy kits. I never do stuff like that. But if you put it as streaming, you'll see that you can use all of that stuff for something where it has to be in the memory, i.e., plugins with samples, because they have to be in the memory. So yeah, yeah, I'll just play what I did anyway, and I hope this one was a good start. What I'll probably do is I'll actually sit and have a bit more of a cohesive approach to it, because I was doing stuff and explaining at the same time, and I genuinely appreciate everybody who stayed. And I'll This is what we kind of made while we were here. Some floating. So yeah, let me see. I'll look one more time at the stream to see, because there's a delay as well. So let me see. Let's. This is a cheat but I'll just do a quick master. I'll tell you another thing about, I never got into this stuff here, which is like some of the stuff in here is ace. I'm probably gonna blow your ears away now. Let me try and see if I can find something not crazy. I can't remember. Let's try pop. Oh, do you know what I've just done? I've just put it into a return on it, like a ding ball. Didn't put it on there. Didn't put it in the right thing. Oh, and I put it on the wrong one again. That's the thing about speeding. But and then we've got a plink, and that should be a nice fade away. And there you go. Et voila. As I say, some people say voila, but it's voila. Voila. Anyway, yeah. So not. Cheers for everybody who's tuned in. Cheers to anybody who's watching this back. Yeah, have a look at it. I'm gonna leave it up online, and maybe I'll try and do one next week again, and I'll try and think about. I'll try and think properly about lining it out so that it doesn't drag on like this. But you're all champions, and as I always say, please just have fun. It's a really great tool, and music is fun anyway. So please have fun, and thanks for tuning in. And I'll catch you again soon. And let me see how to end this, but I'll do my thing of peace.